Doug, there goes Doug. All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to the Monday afternoon or noon or evening, wherever you're joining in from. We're excited to have you guys. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend, safe and fun, and all the great things. And we're here to kick off the week right. If you've been following us at all, we've been covering the progress and the launch times and dates and all that good stuff of MetaForge, which is our newest company in the right place at the right time. I think we're ahead of a lot of people here and most everyone. I would say this is the first that I've seen anybody attempt this. And um, Doug and Peter provided great information. If you guys need to go back, want to go back, it's on our YouTube channel, on the Nexus True Badger YouTube channel, and gather some information. Doug just knocked it out of the park last time, and Peter gave great information on the space. So today we're doing two calls. This is the first of two. Um, and both calls you'll get some updates, get some great news where we're at, where we're what you guys need to do, and all the good stuff, the details. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to you, Doug, and then you can let us know what's the haps, my friend.
It has been a crazy ride. Guys, I can you guys hear me? Am I good? Yeah,
Yeah, you're
great.
perfect. Loud and clear.
I just told Peter a few minutes ago, I never want to have a week like I had last week again, the rest of my life. So yeah, we worked so hard to get this thing up and going and make it happen. We've been working since I've been up since 3 this morning working again. And I think Don has been able to buy on BSC Scan, and I know she's been able to buy on Solana. I don't know if we were able to test on Ethereum yet because the gas fees were so high today that we couldn't test Ethereum. So I know that we're good on two of the three, and I wouldn't suggest anybody to be a guinea pig and go out and try Ethereum with its gas fees being as high as it is. So Don, you want to elaborate on that at all, hon?
Was just letting you know Peter was going to test that for me about an hour ago, so I'm checking to see if it went through.
I know, Peter. So we've got the ETH token launching this week too.
Lord help us.
And I know Peter has been on with his developers with the newest launch for Otherverse and talking to Peter about the liquidity and everything that we're doing for Otherverse also, not to confuse the two calls, because if I start talking about one and the other all on the same call, I guarantee you guys it will get confusing because it's confusing for us. So anyways, let's just leave it at that. But I know Brian and Peter have been talking about the ETH token. I've been on all morning with the programmers on the ETH token and all morning with the programmers on our NFT. So I don't know, Peter, we were just questioning whether, because you've been on with Brian, whether you had a chance to test the Ethereum
Give me 1 second, okay? No, I have not.
That answered the question right there.
I am going to. That's why next time, Don, make sure I do it while we're on the phone. Don't let me off the phone until we do it, because I was ready to do it and then I got distracted. But give me 1 second.
Yes, and it was a good distraction with Brian. Lots of things going on with the ETH token, guys. That contract will be done by probably Thursday. We'll have it up and running by whenever Brian decides he wants to launch it, but we will be done with all the contract work this week. And so 2 major weeks here back to back, developing an NFT contract. So the NFT, guys, just to
John,
give you an idea.
I don't see a message from you. Did you? Oh, there it goes. It just popped in. Thank you.
Okay. Give you guys an idea, the NFT is 6 contracts to develop that NFT. It sounds like this simple, fun, easy job, but it was not. So I'm going to, so Don, if you could pull up the website and the buy page, and shared that. Did they finish the graphics on the buy page? I mean, I know we were working on those to the very last second here.
No kidding. Yeah, I got a lot of it done. At least the NFTs are right, which is great.
That's what counts. Yeah.
The main thing.
Yeah. Is Corey going to have to suffer with the color?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh no, Corey! I tried, buddy.
He'll live.
He'll
live.
It may happen in the next minute or two, but we're just down to the wire here. So we'll see.
Look, he has me and you in his life. How could he be miserable no matter what the color is?
Yeah. I'll just eat a peach.
Right.
Are you talking you and Don? Because I, I know I don't make his life tough.
That's my easy part of my life.
All right, let's see here. I'm trying to buy something here. Give me a second.
So Don's going to bring up the pages, guys. We're going to walk through the pages a little bit. In the chat, though, tell me, do we have anybody new that wasn't on for the presentation Friday? And is there, if there is, you know, or you guys, would you like me to do the presentation again today so that you can kind of get more feel for it? The other thing that I would like to do, okay, I got a new person, so we'll do a presentation. And I would also like for you guys that have gone through the presentation now and thought about it, because I did this on the Saturday call, and I did a whole hour of nothing but Q&A on Saturday to answer people's questions. So if there's Q&A today, it's good for you guys to ask, because the new people, when I do the presentation, will also have questions on today too. So, you know, there's nothing bad here. So we'll try to keep this to an hour. That means Peter's going to have to hurry and do his purchase. No, no pressure, brother. So,
but yeah, the only thing I run into right now is I have to get my Solana wallet over on my computer, because you have to provide a Solana wallet.
So let's
on there.
Yeah.
Let's let Peter do that. And Don, let me run through the presentation, and then you can share the pages and people can ask questions, okay? Because I think we do have new people on the call today. So let's
walk through the purchase so they understand exactly what to expect and, you know, what they're looking at and what it all means. So
right. Right. And I'll explain the overall concept. So then when you are doing the walkthrough for the payment, that will all make sense to everybody. So give me a 1 in the chat if everybody is good with that. And I'm going to bring up the chat. So we'll rock and roll. So hopefully everybody's good. All right. Let me bring this up. And Corey, it's a crack up. I looked at your email. It said first presentation. And I took that first as 1 o'clock.
I figured.
just like, oh my gosh. Okay. And I said, okay. I've been programming way too much. What didn't it? Oh. All right. All right. Let's dive in here. I'll share my screen here. Let me get, I'm almost up. I'm up now. Come on. And Rhonda, thank you for the updates on the slides. Beautiful job. She just nailed it out of the park like usual. So I'm going to go through these. And guys, I'll try to do this a little quicker. If you're new and you want a much more in-depth, trying to really get the concept of what we're doing, I'll kind of touch on it a little bit. But if you want to get that in-depth talk that I did on Friday, you know, they say it was good. I'm the one talking. I never know. So, you know, you may want to go out and listen to that. But let's talk about concept real briefly. And then I'm going to dive through this, because if I can lay the foundation for the concept, then everything else I say will, I think, have a kind of a building block in your brain to be able to hook things together. So the real thing here is for us to imagine, you know, where we're going to in metaverses in general, in our case, Otherverse, and, you know, the kind of the opportunities that are out there. And so when I sat down and started to lay this out, I went to AI and I did a bunch of research, and I do a lot of stuff in AI. But one of the things that I was researching was, what can we develop in Otherverse that would be a good investment potentially, have a high potential return, and have a high demand and high need. And it listed a bunch of things, like educational facilities, different, all kinds of different venues that people would like to have. But it listed two that were extremely ranked much higher than everything else. Okay. One was a convention center and two was an esports center. And we're going to do both of those, but we're launching the convention center first. And the reason that the convention center ranked so high is that AI felt like there would be an extreme demand for people to be able to come to a convention virtually versus being able or having to travel to a location or go to a place to have that experience at the convention. Also, that is from a individual standpoint. From a convention leasing standpoint, it felt like that a convention center like Las Vegas or Chicago, Barcelona, any of the major conventions, or even some of the smaller conventions, would have the ability to duplicate their entire convention that's going on, and then be able to have that go out to people around the world that could not come to the convention in Las Vegas or Chicago or wherever the convention was at. And they could then, bring more people to the vendors, give a better experience for the vendors, and give a better experience for the individuals that wouldn't be able to participate if there wasn't a virtual duplication of that convention center. So with that in mind, then, I had a talk on Saturday, and one of the concepts came out on Saturday. When you run a convention center, you have a set period of time, 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, however long that convention's going to run, right? That convention runs and then it's over, okay? When we run a virtual convention center, that physical convention center can end, but the virtual convention center can continue on to an indefinite period of time. So the value to the vendors and the value to the people to be able to come back to that convention center 2 months from now and still be able to go to that booth, still be able to meet with assistants, and those assistants can be driven by AI, expands the whole concept of convention centers. In fact, when we get into talking about the NFTs, we began to think about renting our space, and I'll explain all of this as we go through. But when we think about a virtual convention center to be able to run for months or years, then it changes the value proposition that we're going to be talking about today in terms of how the NFTs and that floor space, that valuable real estate that you can own, becomes valuable not just in the moment that convention center is alive, but potentially for years if they want to leave that convention center open. And maybe multiple years. They ran it in 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and all those years could still potentially be running because they showed different things and still provide real value to the convention center itself and the products that were being distributed at or demoed at that convention center, and for the people that want to experience that convention. So with that in mind, just think, when we're talking about a convention center, we're going to be talking about virtual worlds. We're going to be talking about way things can work in virtual versus real, and it blows away anything that is in the physical world for us to do. Okay, so I laid the foundation. Let's dive in here. And it's MetaForge Group. We are partnering with Brian to develop real estate in Otherverse. The convention center is the first thing that we're going to develop. There'll be multiple NFT type things that we'll launch for the convention center, but there'll be multiple types of properties that we develop over time. So MetaForge Group is who you're talking to, and we are partnered with, I think, the best metaverse on the planet, and I think he'll end up owning all the metaverses when you look at his patents and stuff. So won't get into that, but super exciting place to be. Quantum real estate is the impossible business model for just all of those reasons that I just explained, that it just opens up the dynamics of what can happen in a virtual world that cannot happen in a physical world. And you'll see that as I go through this slide presentation here. When we look at a convention center, we look at Las Vegas. This is Las Vegas Convention Center. Thank you, Rhonda, for this slide. Beautiful slide. We can see all of the booths, and they are in a place and a location. When we think about doing it in Otherverse, we could duplicate this exact convention however they want us to duplicate it. We could make it look exactly the same. We could even enhance it to where it is a bigger convention than the one that's in Vegas. We could do everything. We could have the booths on the exact same floor space. We could have it laid out. The vendors, guys, and this is some of the things that are mind-boggling, I think, when we get to understanding what we can do in the virtual world, right? Let's say that we take a convention booth, and I'll point out maybe this convention booth is this convention booth in the virtual world, right? And it's, when you're at the convention, you're limited to this space. When you're in the virtual world, you're not limited to this space. The convention booth could actually have a portal, a doorway, a gateway, that if you're talking to one of the representatives here on this booth, you could both step through this doorway and go to a private meeting room. We'll see what some of those might look like. You could also go through this door, and it could open up into an entirely different virtual world that this company has paid for and got, and you could take your clients into that virtual world, right? Demo your products in the virtual world in a way that you could never demo them here, right? So when we start talking about NFTs and owning a floor space that people rent out and owning potential doorways and things to other virtual worlds, it becomes unlimited what we can produce and create as an experience for people that want to go to convention centers. Absolutely super exciting, right? So when I talk about the world expanding, we can expand the size of the convention, we can create bigger conventions, we can create smaller rooms that actually leave the conventions floor and actually go to these rooms, have private meetings, have demonstrations maybe of products in a much bigger area where multiple people can be in this room demoing the product all simultaneously, meeting with assistants, meeting with AI assistants in this room, or sitting at the table and negotiating a contract to distribute the product, buy the product, be a reseller of the product, whatever they're going to do. We can create this environment that brings them out of that convention center and puts them in a very nice private area that negotiations can take place, right? And it can look many different ways. They could open up to their own floor, leave the main convention floor and go into their own little convention floor where they're demoing lots of products different ways. So there's no limitation to what we can do. And this is our potential floor that we would develop off of the convention floor, which would be our trading software insights that would have multiple rooms to meet with vendors. We talked about having different places where different people that are launching NFTs or crypto or different Web3 products or just different things that are coming out could come to our Web3 room, right? Sign up for demonstrations, meet for conferences where they get told the new things that are coming out. They could be the first people to see a new NFT and buy that NFT at the lowest possible rate, right? And be part of something new that's launching. There's just nothing that we can't do in this space that gives us really exciting opportunities. So quantum real estate, it's just an NFT away. And here's how the NFTs are going to work, okay? We have a Quantum Forge, one shard, one location NFT. It's a good NFT for an introduction to quantum real estate. It gives you a 10 by 10 square foot space that when a convention center wants to run, they have to lease out space, and they have to lease it out from the NFT holders. So when a convention like Las Vegas is running a convention and they want to lease out a whole floor, well, they come to us and, well, they'll actually go through a management company that we hire, right? And we're negotiating that with at least a couple of different groups right now that we're talking to. And they will be responsible for bringing those conventions to our virtual convention center. They'll negotiate the rates, they'll negotiate the contracts, they'll do everything that needs to be done on that end. The only thing that you'll do is decide whether you want to lease your space to that convention floor. And there's reasons why you may or may not want to do that with a single core or a single location NFT, and I'm going to explain that to you right now. When we look at this main floor here, this is the main floor, and that floor is going to run all the time, where your booth or your convention floor can be on this main floor, and maybe you're running your own business with that convention floor. Maybe you're running a Teespring business, maybe you're running an MLM business and showing products, or maybe you're running a home-based product business or a fabric or clothing business or whatever you want to run. You're running that with your booth that's open all the time for people to come and see your products and meet with you, discuss your products and buy your products and do whatever. That's running on this. If you have a NFT core, single location, that means that it can only be in one location at a time. If there's a convention that comes and you want to lease your space out, you would need to close down your booth, just put it on hold, gray it out, and then allow your space to be used on this floor or this floor or this floor, because in the virtual world, we can virtually move your space from one location to another location and then allow the lease of that space to be leased by that convention center so that you're making money with your NFT. But if it's a core, an NFT core, it has one shard, which is a 10 by 10 space, has one shard and one location. Means that it can only be used one place at a time. Now, there are bonuses, and I'll get into those in a little bit, but as a base NFT, that's how that core NFT works, okay? When we look at the NFT Prime, it is a single shard, two locations. When we developed this, and this is the fun part about being in the virtual world, right? We took a concept from quantum physics, which is called superposition. Superposition allows something that can exist in two places simultaneously. A neuron, an atom, whatever they do, that's two places simultaneously, the same thing, right? So we created a concept in our NFTs to allow what is called meta superposition. It allows your single shard to exist in two locations simultaneously. What would that look like? Well, we're back to the floor where you have your business running, right? You have your Teespring or whatever your business is running up here, but a convention comes to town. Well, with the core, you had to shut your business down to move it to a different location. In this situation, your single shard can exist in two locations simultaneously. You can have your Teespring business running here, and you can lease out the second location to that convention center. Now, if a third convention center came into town and you said, wow, they're paying a lot per square footage, then I could shut down my Teespring business and have it with the third convention. So I could be running in this convention and this convention, but not have my Teespring business running at the same time. When one of these two ended, then my Teespring business would open up again and be running, okay, until I leased out my square footage again. So with the NFT that is the Prime that allows two locations, okay, that is the way that this one works. And you can see in the NFT, it has two booths here. So very dynamic, very, very, I think a next step up in terms of owning quantum real estate and being able to share that or use that quantum real estate to potentially make more money, okay? So the final NFT we have is the Apex. It's a single shard, again, one booth or one square footage, 110 by 10, but it can be used simultaneously in 5 locations, okay, through what we call meta superposition. It allows that shard to be used on the main floor with the business that you're running in this location. So 1 location, 2 locations, 3 locations, 4 locations, 5 locations. So there can be 4 conventions running in your space, and you can be in all of them at the same time. Or if there's 6 conventions running, you could be in the 6th convention over here and just shut down your Teespring business for a short period of time. And now you're getting paid in all the conventions for the use of your 10 by 10 square footage, okay? So the concept is so unique in that you can never do this in the physical world, right? One, you can't own a 10 by 10 in the Las Vegas Convention Center, and every time there's a convention that you can get paid for it. But Las Vegas Convention Center can be running a trade show, come and rent a virtual space, maybe this one down here or this one over here. They rent that virtual space, and now you're getting paid for a trade show that's going on in Las Vegas because you own the virtual space that the Las Vegas trade show needs to use. Super exciting, okay? So let's go on here. So can you put a price on success? Yes, we can. And let's just go through the core, which was the first NFT. Retail price on that is $850. We're going to be selling it for $250 right now. That price can go up. That's currently about 70% off, $600 savings. We will have a fast act discount. So when you link on the site that Don is going to show you, from the time you link on that site, you're going to have 96 hours to take advantage of that discount. It's a 10% discount. Get it for 73% off, $625 in savings, $225 is what you'd pay for it. If you are a trunk holder for Otherverse or an Abigami holder for DFY, and if you own either one of those, you know what they are. If you don't own them, you don't know what they are, then this doesn't apply to you. But if you own either one of those, you can get it for $212, okay, which is an additional savings for our people that have been involved in some of our other projects. But if you add the fast start bonus, these 2 grays here, You add the fast start bonus to that, you get it for 187, 77% off, almost 78% off. Huge savings, 663 off, okay? If you like the Prime and you like the being able to have two locations active, then you can $1,700 retail. You can get it for $442, but the Fast Act is $398. And if you own an Avagami and you take advantage of the Fast Act, it's $332. I would think anybody that owns an Avagami or a trunk is not going to miss taking advantage of the Fast Act. Also, you guys should go directly to this price, 80% off, and about $1,369 in savings. Now, the last one, the Apex. We did an additional discount on the Apex because we think it's the best value for everybody. It's a $4,200 retail, $953 on its own, but Fast Act is $842, 80% savings, okay? And with the trunk or Avagamis with Fast Act is $514. If you look at this is about $100 a location. 5 locations, $514. You look at this one's getting in between close to a $200. So this is about half, not quite, but about half of what the core would be in terms of value. And it's an 87, almost 88% savings off of this price, which is a savings of $3,736, okay? Well, it doesn't stop there, guys, because we have bonuses and things that we need to talk about. And we're going to go through those right now. So bonus 1 is double locations, okay? If I get a core, that's a single shard with 1 location. If I get this bonus, it will double my location for my core to 2 locations, okay? If the Prime, it comes with 2 locations. If I get this, it doubles it to 4. With Apex, I get 5 locations. It doubles it to 10. So if you get this, and there'll be 200 NFTs that will get this bonus. And they are divided up fairly equally between the core, the Prime, and the Apex. Okay, the Apex has a couple of more that were given away because it's not equal math. But so we gave that bonus, there's a couple more to the Apex side. But for the most part, they're equal in terms of the number of NFTs that will receive this bonus. Okay. Bonus 2, meeting room. Huge bonus, guys. Remember that room I showed you with the center glass where the table they could meet and all the chairs along the side, they could do demonstrations? That's this room, right? And there'll be people or there'll be vendors that will come to the convention and they'll want a meeting room. You have to have this bonus right now to be able to get it. So if somebody's requesting a meeting room, this is a huge bonus. There'll be 50 total that will receive this bonus, okay? In the Prime and the Apex only, okay? So that's divided up. And I want to look at that with Don, but that is the way this is written. Okay, so the bonus 3 is a premium placement bonus, and this will work 2 ways, okay? And I want to be clear that you guys understand this because the language may be a little bit hard. Premium placement bonus, when you think of a convention center, there's premium floor space right by the main entrance door, on the corners, by the bathrooms, in the center of the convention. So, and those usually get charged more for those spaces. You can potentially have this bonus for your booth, right, to get that premium placement bonus. And there'll be 50 NFTs that will get that bonus. The only Apex here, this part, means on that convention floor, that main floor where your Teespring business is, only the Apex will be able to have premium placement on that floor. But if you get this premium placement bonus with your NFT, you will be able to provide that premium placement bonus with your NFT. So that will not be limited to the Apex only. So, okay, so those are the bonuses. You can earn commissions, and we're almost done here. The commissions for direct is 8%. Indirect, anybody you bring in, they bring somebody in, you'll get 4% of the NFT sales, okay? Somebody sells an NFT, you'll get paid on that. And it's directly via a smart contract. So if they pay with crypto, it'll immediately show up in your wallet paid. If they use ACH or they use CrossMint, which is Visa or credit card, it will take up to, I think, about 72 hours to receive that payment, because we can't do it directly on a contract. But if they pay via crypto, it'll immediately show up in your wallet. So guys, super excited about our convention center. The other thing that I will mention at the end of this, we will be coming out with other NFTs for billboards, where they'll rent billboard space. We'll be coming out with NFTs for meeting rooms, where you can have a portion of a meeting room or a conference room. There'll be other NFTs that will be coming out with for this convention, and you will have first right of refusal on those NFTs if you buy one of the 3 NFTs that we went over today. We will also be working on coming out with other types of real estate. I talked about an esports center. That's potentially the next thing maybe on the agenda. We'll see. But there'll be multiple types of real estate that we come out with. You will always have first right of refusal if you are one of our first NFT holders on that new real estate that is going to be coming out down the road. So super excited. Don, I'm going to kick it back to you if you're ready to show the pages. And thank you guys for taking the time to go through that with me. And be sure to ask any questions, guys. We'll answer as many questions as we possibly can.
Doug, I think we're going to turn it over to Peter and let him talk for a little bit to kill some time. Can you check Skype, please?
Okay, sure will. Thank you.
Thank you. Turning it to you.
I don't know. I'm more of a creator than a killer, but let's go.
I was going to say, not that we just use you to fill time. That's not what we're saying.
All right. Hey, everybody.
All right.
Hopefully everybody's doing well. We're working on things right now in the background. So I had a talk with Brian today. So we were going over the software update. So just to give you guys an Otherverse software update, it will be on Wednesday is when the patch is ready. Which is a little bit later than we wanted it to, but this is software. So, but however, some great news on the next few patches. So we felt that the next patch would be a couple weeks after this. It's actually going to be within a week, which is going to add a whole bunch more capabilities. And then by the end of October, early November, the next patch will be available, which really opens things up. The November patch is where you'll be able to utilize UTHX in the system and be able to do all kinds of great stuff in where it's going. So things are definitely moving forward, and we're making progress on where it's at. While Doug and Dawn are working away right now, we'll get into kind of coming up this Thursday, of course, is the event. If you don't already have Otherverse on your system, as soon as it's ready, you'll just be able to go set up an account. You don't need to send us an email. You don't need to do any of that stuff. And the reason why I'm covering Otherverse right now, guys, is these are connected directly, right? MetaForge is going to become the largest land developer in all of Otherverse, right? We're going to have income producing properties that you can purchase through NFTs. And then, of course, you're in full control of deciding when and where that gets leased out, right? Or rented out for the day on there. So it's a partnership, but we're going to continue to develop teams and opportunities for people to get in there and start, conventions is our first place where we're starting to do this. And we'll have an entire convention team that's their full-time job, is to go out and find events. So there'll be two things too. One is finding existing conventions, people that already hold them, that have big names, that already have a lot of attendance. But also part of it will be us starting new conventions that will take place in the metaverse. So we'll have a two-pronged approach there for the convention side of things. The ones we're starting from scratch will have marketing budgets to them to get attendees to come to it, of marketing budgets attached to them to, of course, book people to come to those events, and get that whole thing rolling. Now, remember, when an NFT first starts, our convention spaces are going to rent for just a small amount, right? But then they're going to continue to grow as we build this popularity. I've really been putting a lot of thought into this as we've begun to move forward and look at where our economy's going and where things are headed to, right? I want to do a quick poll here in the chat. If you believe that prices in the next year are going to go for everything, are going to go down or up, right? Slightly up. I don't think we're going to have the inflation that we've been having here next year, with the way things are going. But do you think your prices are going to go down or up? If you believe they're going to go down, put in a 2. If you believe they're going to go up, put in a 1. Excellent. Very good. So I've been putting together some stuff. I don't have it done yet, but really nailing down, and maybe somebody else that's been to a convention lately, that especially an out-of-town convention, maybe somebody can kind of tell us, if Steve's on here. I know Steve goes to a lot of shows for his jewelry business. Maybe he can kind of run by, okay, my 4 nights in the hotel, my food while I was there, my airfare. Just for somebody, I want to go not from an attendance of a vendor standpoint here. I want to go from the person going to the convention, because ultimately I can say, hey, yeah, I want to buy a booth in a convention, but the key is are people going to still go? I think I want to go to the convention, which there will be those. There's people that love them, and they actually, a lot of people use them, I think, to get away from family and kind of like mini vacations, especially if they're in Vegas, right? They don't only go, but also too, is I want you to build into it, if it's in Vegas, not just the money that's going to cost to go to the convention, but how much money are you going to lose gambling? Okay. We kind of need to put that into the equation, right? Because I know we're all excited to go to Vegas, but trust me, that town was not built on winners. It was built on the people who lose. So the majority of people that attend that convention are going to drop a few hundred to a few thousand to, who knows, maybe tens of thousands of dollars from there. So, yeah, I don't know if Costa Rica would be a good, Jeffrey, but how much, you're in Costa Rica, right? Did you have to travel for it and all that stuff? Because very seldomly are conventions in our town, right, where we are, unless we live in Vegas. Most of us are traveling, whether it's Toy Fair. So I went to Toy Fair many, many years, year after year after year after year after year. And then, of course, me and Corey went to the electronics show. Was that, what, 4 or 5 years ago, Corey, right before COVID?
Yeah, I think it was like what, 4 years ago.
Yeah. So if we do the math there, I believe our hotel room at that time was about $300 a night. Okay, we went for, I think it was 4 days, right? So that's $1,200 on my hotel. I believe the prices have gone up. Of course, I would have drove there. Corey would have flown because it was in Vegas and I'm close enough. So I would have paid $26 a day to park. So that's $130 in parking. Every meal that we went to, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, breakfast started about $30 a person, because you want to eat at the hotel because you're there to go to the event. So it's $60 a day. So $300 a day for me and Corey to eat breakfast. Dinners were $150 for the two of us to eat. So we're talking about another $700 there, odds and ends. So we're talking about, for 2 people to go, and of course, Corey's airfare, which I don't know what that was. Maybe he remembers $300-400, probably somewhere in that neighborhood. I drove, so maybe $100 in gas. Of course, the price of gas today was probably a little bit more. So, when we start totaling all this together, we're in $4,000 just to go visit a convention, right? Just to go to a convention to be a part of it. What if I could do that for $50, right? Attend the same convention, get the same value. I can not only go with Corey, but Doug can go with me because we're there virtually, right? So I can bring in, and here, I want to start explaining to you guys the advantages here. I'm at a booth. I find something and I'm in a technical business. I'm at the Consumer Electronics Fair. And normally I go there and I go, wow, yeah, that might work for what we're doing. Let me grab a sample. Let me get my development team to look at it and go from there. Imagine if I was at the convention and I can go, hey, hold on 1 minute. I dial my development person. He gets on his avatar. He comes in and we sit there and we figure it out right there on the spot. He orders and says, hey, I need one of those, one of those, one of those. Can you get me a sample thing out there? Think about the expediency. I want you guys to start thinking about the value that these virtual conventions do. Okay. How many of you guys have had business trips when your kids had a special soccer game or a football game or a baseball game or graduation or a birthday come up? If you've had a special occasion that you had to miss for work to travel for a convention, put a 1 in the chat. And I'm like ones many times, right? It always seems like these things fall on when there's a anniversary or a birthday or some type of holiday, right? That you have to miss in order to do that. Think about virtual, guys. I can still go. Your business is important to you. So I understand missing some things, right? Because you have to in order to go through that process. But I want you guys to think about being able to have your cake and eat it too. That's where virtual, see, because when I look at anything, it's like, wait a minute, is there advantages to doing it this way? Are there advantages to virtual conferences? Because eventually I might go, I don't really like, I'm going to be like Jody in the beginning. Metaverse is not for me. It's for the young people, right? They're going to do it. I'm just going to be involved with it because I know there's got a lot of young people that are going to come to it. But all of a sudden, Jody has a choice. He needs to go to a convention and his grandkids are graduating from, middle school or whatever it is, right? Does he then say, you know what? I'm downloading this software because I'm not missing my grandkids' middle school to go to an event, but I need to be at that event. Boom. What about the next time there's even, I don't want to even use the word pandemic, right? But what if the next time there's a big flu season and flus are running rampant? Are we all going to throw masks on again? Or are we going to say, you know what? I'll just attend these conventions virtually. I'll still be able to shake hands with people, still be able to hug the people, still be able to spot people in the metaverse because they're, I'll know their usernames and all that stuff. I'll still be able to get that same similar type experience, still be able to get my business done, but be there. So when you look at it from that perspective, do we believe that in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years, that there'll be as many, if not more people attending conferences virtually than physically? If you believe that, put in a 2. If you don't believe that, put in a 3. I want to change up the numbers here a little bit. Yeah, to me, it's an easy decision to make. More people are going to want to attend conferences. So instead of getting 500,000 people to show up in Vegas and come to a conference, there might be 400,000 or 300,000 that will still come to Vegas, but there'll be millions that will come and attend these conferences virtually. So there'll actually be more people attending. So then if there's physical and there's virtual, and there's more people attending virtually, which one has the most value to companies and projects and all that stuff? The virtual one. So then people begin to shift their budgets. They begin to shift their movement towards virtual and putting more effort, time, and energy in that than they do the physical ones. And again, I believe physical will be there. Just like, I don't know if you guys remember in the late 90s, in the late 90s, right? Everybody's talking about, shopping will be completely gone. Malls will be gone. And I'm like, I don't think so. right? There's a void that gets filled. There's still malls, there's still shopping, but yet there's a lot of online shopping. There's room for both of these.
And buddy, Don, check it now, please. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Sorry,
I believe there's going to be room for both of them in the convention space. But I'm telling you right now, a lot of companies just purely exist on the internet, right? They don't even do retail anymore. And guess what? There'll be giant conventions. Matter of fact, eBay still, since the pandemic, they started doing online conventions. They still do their online conventions today. They suck, right? Because they're just Zoom and it's not like a real convention. But they came down to the expense, risk, and the value is it's better to continue to do them virtually. Yes, it is this week. Yes, Lowe's. That's why I remembered it, because I got the text on it that it's coming this week. So it's coming this week. Imagine them being able to broaden that and go. And they used to have physical ones, guys, but they just found that the value proposition was not there. Now let's go from the vendor standpoint. Guys, I have to tell you, we've spent mid five figures to do Toy Fair in the past, and that was in the early 2000s, right? That's not today. By the time you rent your booth space, by the time you build out a booth, even if you buy one of those ones that folds up in a little box, right? Which that's no display if you're trying to look like a big company, right? So, right, it fold up in the box. By the time you FedEx those or ship those to the event, they land at the event. The union people get a hold of them and take them to your booth. You're talking hundreds of dollars just to get your stuff to the booth in a convention. And if you're bringing anything with you, if you want to give product away at an event, so we always gave samples away at events. Every box that they pick up that they bring to your booth is 30, 40, 50 bucks, right? Oh, I want to plug in my laptop. Oh, there's a charge for that because you can't run the extension cord to your booth. You have to have somebody do that. I want an extra table. There's a charge for that, right? All this. How many people here have done shows and thought, oh, it cost me, the booth is $800 and that was the cheapest part of your booth, or $500, $600, $700, right? I'm not talking about the small Christmas fairs and that type of stuff, but decent sized conventions, Toy Fair, Consumer Electronics Show, all of that stuff. And then you got to bring in staff, right? You've got to bring in other people. Yeah, Chris Mills has done a lot, right? He's done it for his business, right? We had a call with him last week. Going to be doing some great stuff with Chris here moving forward in Otherverse. But, I know that for us, by the time we bring in 4 or 5 people for our company, toy company, 4 or 5 people brought in to New York City for Toy Fair. First of all, hotel rooms, $300 to $500 a night, easily at that time of the year, no matter what you do. Getting people to the convention, paying for the booth, paying for dinners in New York City. We'd spend $40,000, $50,000 for just 5 people, the booth space, the decorations, oh my goodness, printing things and getting stuff made and some type of giveaway so they remember your booth, all of that stuff, $40,000, $50,000. And that was 20 years ago, guys. If you're going to do things right, you're talking about spending 75, 80 grand. Think about this, guys. If I'm having a digital convention, I can still give away stuff. I just give away digital stuff that has rarity to it. I was just actually looking because somebody had mentioned something about a Lego set selling for $1 million. I'm like, there's no way a Lego set selling for $1 million. So I went and did my research because anytime somebody says that to me, but I went and there are Lego things that were given away at some of the conventions that are selling for $27,000. One Lego thing, $27,000. Think about that from a digital perspective of being able to create digital rarities through NFTs. Let's talk about the technology side of this thing, right? We've got technology now There's a whole movement towards Web3. Think about now being able to give I went to a convention back in the when was it, 90 something? And there was this little tiny company there called Magic the Gathering. It was their first trade show. They were handing out these packs, little brown packs of this game that I had never heard of. Nobody had heard of it, called Magic the Gathering. Okay. These were the alpha packs. I would suggest that you go on and look up Magic the Gathering alpha pack and see what an alpha pack sells for nowadays. Lots and lots. There's cards in there that are 50, 40,000, 100,000, a couple $100,000. Guys, I am not kidding you. I would walk by their booth for the 10th time that day, and they would try to give me a pack. I would turn them down and say, no, I've already got enough of these damn things. I don't need any more. Please stop begging me to take them. Gosh, do I wish they would have begged me to take a case of them while I was there. And they had lots left over when they left the show. I'm sure I could have bought a case for $50, $100. It'd be worth millions of dollars today, right? A whole entire case of their alpha. Because we know that in a case, because of the number of quantities, there'd be 6 to 8 of the highest card in there, right? Because of the number of packs, the number of cards, you do the mathematics, and just naturally and normally there'd be X amount of those. Would be worth an absolute fortune today. They were giving them away. I want you guys to think about that in a digital sense. Why didn't I take them? Because I had to fly back to Arizona from Phoenix. As a matter of fact, I collected all the stuff, and my mom lived in New Jersey, and I left it with her because I didn't want to bring it on the plane. Well, mom's creative. She loves to cut things up. So what she does is she starts opening the alpha packs, and she starts cutting them up and gluing them to things to sell in her store, because she had a store at the time. So she is literally cutting up $1,000 and $5,000 and $10,000 and $20,000 cards and pasting them to it, because I left them with mom. I'm telling you, if I would have brought them with me because I didn't want to carry them, I would have never cut them up. I would have kept them. They would have sat in a bag. One day I would have went, hey, I have those. I would have went and found them, and I would have pulled out the packs and said, oh, good, I got an extra 50 grand, 100 grand here, right? But mom just, hey, I got to get rid of it. My son left this stuff here. She's cutting out all the cartoon characters and all that stuff and gluing and putting things together, right? So again, guys, there's a lot of sides to this that we really need to think through. How many people collect stuff at the shows, these conventions, and leave it behind in Las Vegas, or just throw it all away because it just becomes too much? And I'm talking the big shows where you collect bags and bags and bags of information, because you're like, when you're collecting, you're like, yeah, I'll bring this back. I'll bring this back. I'll bring this back. But by the end of a 4-day show, you've got a stack this thick, and you're like, I don't want to bring that on the airplane. Maybe pick out a couple important ones and throw the rest away. Think about
hard to store all those, buddy.
Oh my goodness. Think about a digital convention where you record your entire interactions at the convention.
Yeah, it's on a little chip.
Yes. And you can go back and go, hey, hey, Corey, in that booth, remember we were talking to the person about this product. What did they say the cost was, or the manufacturing time, or any of that stuff? Oh, let me go back in the metaverse, look at the record and say, oh, that's what they said.
Yeah. And
you have all of that information right there at your hand. So, hey, buddy, how's it going?
Well, we got some questions, and us answer some questions, and they're testing the pricing, making sure it's right. And
excellent. Well,
right now, if somebody bought, they would pay too much, and we don't want that. So,
okay. Jay's asked when the ROI is going to start. I would say, Jay, probably mid next year. By the time we put the team together, build out the convention center, book the first convention. Of course, remember, you have to market these. You have to say, hey, the event's coming, and you have sales times. So I would say mid next year is probably the earliest when it will start.
Right. And then he asked, what will the rental value, or what will the rate be? Each convention, Jay, will be different. That will be negotiated by our company that we hire. So they'll negotiate the rate. And here's how it's going to work in your back office. because you'll have full control over your asset. When they negotiate the rate, we'll have all the conventions listed, and we'll have the rates per 10 by 10 square foot, what they'll be going for. And you'll choose whether you want to participate in that convention or not. That'll be completely up to you. We will also have the ability, because this was one of Peter's ideas, is to allow you to choose the next 5 conventions. Can't do more than that. You can auto select, put me in the next 5 conventions. I don't care what they are. Just put me in and I'm good to go. You'll have to come back and renew that, but you'll have that option. So if you want to hand pick based on the 10 by 10 rate, the team, the company that we hire will do the best job negotiating those rates. That's what they've been doing for years in actual physical convention centers. That's what they do for a living. So they'll be able to negotiate. They know how to negotiate those rates.
Also, too, is remember, it'll start, and I've said this already, it'll start lower and it will build as the popularity grows, right? As people begin to invest, I might say, you know what, I need it pretty cheap because I haven't done it before. So I rent the booth pretty cheap. I see benefit from it. I was able to see 20 or 50 customers that couldn't make it to the convention. I sell some product to it. The next time I'm willing to invest more money in it, I build a bigger booth. I'm able to pay more. Supply and demand, all of a sudden, we have a set number of booths. Those are gone. That'll all start working in that favor to raise the value of it. So this is just like any other property in the world, right? I believe that 25 years ago, the median house value in the United States was, $70,000, $60,000. Now it's over $200,000, right?
Right.
So as things grow, it'll go up. Now, here's the cool part is you own your NFT. You're like, this thing's only producing me $300 or $100 a year. I don't think that's enough. You could say, hey, I want to sell that NFT. You'll be able to sell it for more than you paid for it at that point, because as revenue coming in off of it, you can then sell the NFT and then put your money in something else, right? So there's a lot of, because remember, you own it. There'll be marketplaces for people that go, hey, I want to own one of those. I want to buy one. I'm actually super excited about, if I could purchase something, this is my own personal opinion. If I could purchase something for $500 or $600 and it would produce me $200, $300, $400, $500 a year in residual income, year after year after year after year after year, I'm trying to buy as many of those as I can, right? Because simply that's what life is about, right? I know a lot of us come from the home business world. We're looking for residual income. We're looking for something where I can make a simple decision. Yes, I want to rent. No, I don't want to rent. Yes, boom, I'm done. I get funds in the door, right? I don't have to set up the convention. I don't have to plan anything. I don't have to do anything other than making my decision whether I want to accept the rent or not accept the rent, right? That's very easy, hands off. I can do that from a beach in Costa Rica, right? I'm hanging out with Jeffrey Marston in Costa Rica on the beach, hanging out. I go log into my back office. Oh, there's 3 conventions. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, great. Boom. Income coming in the door. Okay. There's no maintenance cost, guys, to these. Okay. So there's not a monthly maintenance. So if it's not renting, it's not costing you any money at this point, just the value of what you paid for it. And it's going to produce revenue for you. So I think it's the perfect venue to put it together, because again, the venue itself will get a portion of the revenue from rentals and from having the events. So other people are paying the bill for the maintenance on your space. Okay. Kind of like a triple net situation, right? You do triple net properties, they pay all the maintenance, you get the rent, right? That's kind of the situation that we're in here with that. Okay. Will there be an opportunity for concerts to allow music artists? It depends, Jeffrey. This is a flat floor stadium right there. We'll have to see how that goes in the future, whether that would work for it. But again, convention centers are rented for lots of things, rodeos, all kinds of things. We'll just have to see how we begin to develop from there. A lot of it will depend on technology. I've mentioned this before. If you would have brought Zoom out in 1999, it would have failed with the internet, right? Dial up, too slow, bandwidth wasn't there. There wasn't enough people who had high speed. I have to have high speed in order to make Zoom work, right? I have to have the bandwidth, the power of my computer to run the software. So what's capable today versus what's capable in the next year, 2, 5, 10, 15 years, that'll continue to change and develop and move forward from there. We do know that the technology, because we're going to have a convention starting on Thursday, Otherverse has already had multiple conventions in the classic system that have been very successful. They've sold out, rented out all the booths, rented out all the space in the past. So we know this model works. We just now need to see, with the capability of technology and everything else, how big can it become? If it can become as big as I think it can, then a holy mackerel, Katie bar the door, right? Will there be a walkthrough PDF or video clip to watch, read later? Have to leave in a few minutes. Yeah, we'll have this. We always record these. You can always go back and listen again. Always, every time. I was also wondering if the conventions will be unlimited. EX, concert, business, tech, crafts, any type of convention that wants to book, we will book it there, right? And it will be determined. That's the great part about this, guys, that you get to determine. And look, we all have our belief systems. If there's a convention that's there that's being booked that is against your belief system, you can just say, I don't want to book the venue. Our goal is to book this thing. I would like to have this thing booked 24/7, 365 days a year, 3, 4, 5 conventions starting every day, them overlapping each other. Eventually, there's nobody who has any booth that they want to rent, that there's not a rental opportunity available. Again, you have to make that choice. It's up to you, but it'll go from there. How long does
Peter, let me tag in on that just a little bit, because we went on my Saturday call, and I alluded to this. We were able to go a step above and beyond just that concept. We think now about a convention center renting a physical space for a period of time. The next convention's coming in. What do they got to do? They got to leave. They can't have 2 conventions in that same space going on at the same time. Let's say Las Vegas came to us and said, we want to build out CES. Okay, so we build it out. They say, we want to keep that running indefinitely. No problem. Your floor space could stay rented indefinitely in that convention, right? Now they come to us next year and say, we want to do CSE again. It's a whole new convention. So we do another one. The 2024 is still running. We do 2025. Now they got to rent out more space, right? Now you have the opportunity. Maybe we go out and sell more NFTs. Now you rent space for 2025. 2024 is still running. Well, we want to keep 2025 going. So now 2025 is going and 2024 is going. Maybe they want to do this 3 years rolling. So now they do 2026, 2025, 2024. We have all of those rented out continuously for indefinite periods of time, or however long they want. The ability to rent out space and to keep product demonstrations going on has just become unlimited, where anything else they do in the physical world has a cutoff date, and then its value dramatically goes down from there. Now, they still have trying to set up meetings with people after the conventions, when the conventions are over and all of that. But the actual convention value proposition goes down the date that it quits. Here, that doesn't happen. And what does that mean for all of us that own NFTs? We not only have that 1 year that we can lease, we have that year locked in, next year locked in, next year locked in. It's just unbelievable, the opportunities that we have. And we can have all kinds of other events, like Peter said, bull riding, those kind of things happen in our convention center here in town. When there's no big things going on in the winter and stuff, they have it turned into an ice skating rink. Maybe we have an area that's an ice skating rink and people come and pay ETH tokens to go ice skating, and all the people that's booths are making up the ice skating rink get paid in ETH tokens. Unlimited what we can do here. It's just our imaginations. Okay. All right, guys, Don, where are we at? We got to make a decision here.
Oh, sure. I think we're okay. We're just waiting on them to do the final updates here.
Okay.
Everything else is good that I've checked. So
Okay.
need a few more minutes.
Okay. Are you ready to do a walkthrough on the home page?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
All right, guys. We're going to take a few more minutes. We're going to stay on this and get this thing launched.
So
Yes,
Jody
we
has a
are.
question. How long does the discount last? Why don't you explain that, buddy? I land on the page. I have
Yeah,
96
and
hours.
I'll show you that on my page until Don and them can get that up and running. Okay, so let me pull up that page. Okay. All right, I'll share my screen. And Jody, we did this in a unique way, and that probably surprises you with us because we just never do anything unique, right? No. So, okay. All right, everybody see my screen okay?
We got you.
All right. When you land on this page, there's two timers running. Let's go through the first timer, the fast act timer. It's a 10% discount if you act within the first 96 hours. You can see I landed on this page. It says 95 hours left. If I act within that period of time, I'm going to get that 10% discount. And it'll be on top of any other discount or price that's available to me at that time. When I land on this page, there's 90 days available to me to get this package. Now, the way this works is that this is an individual experience. So Jody, if you open this up today, these would be your kind of numbers you would see. If I came and opened it up 3 weeks from now or 2 months from now, as long as there's NFTs available, okay, this is the risk at later logging on, I would see the same 96 hours you saw because that's unique to me. And I would see the same 90 days you saw because that's unique to me. So the dates are unique to the individual when they log onto the site. The longer you wait, the only risk that you run is that there won't be NFTs available. I think, guys, this is my opinion, that these NFTs will sell out because I have a very large group that I'm working with that needs digital assets in other countries for their business. And they're very excited about what I'm doing with Insights, JBean, and the tokens here. They're excited about what Peter's doing with DFYs. They're excited about all of our digital products, but they want to look at NFTs. And if they do, they have 27,000 people in just one country already signed up. And so I think these would go very, very quickly. So then this timer is no longer relevant if we sell out. Excuse me. Apologize. Any other questions that we have, guys, that you can see that I can answer? Oh, do we need Phantom Wallet? Yes, guys, you absolutely need the Phantom Wallet.
Or a Solana wallet. Guys, we recommend Phantom Wallet, but you can have any wallet that is a Solana wallet, right? Should work when you attach it. It's just the address and that. So as long as it's on Wallet Connect or whatever. So, but I would recommend getting a Phantom Wallet. It seems to be the best wallet for Solana.
I'll say it like this, and then Peter and I can have a conversation. You need a Phantom Wallet. Okay. Okay. Just now, if you're going to do it, you need a Phantom Wallet. Okay. So yes, and Peter's right in that, but in the contract, we need a Phantom Wallet for right now. Okay. Keep it simple. Okay. All right. Anything else, Don? Talk to me.
Ooh, I'm here. Trying to get the page updated real quick.
All right.
On Suleiman.
All right.
He said he's working on it, so I got to give him a minute.
Well, it's 1 a.m. his time, guys, and he is still hammering on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll give him a couple more minutes. And if you have to go, we know you have to go. We'll be doing this again at 6 o'clock. Corey, do I have that right? See, if we'd done it at 1 o'clock, like I thought, Corey, we'd just be right about on time.
I love how your mind works.
It's
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock tonight.
Yes, 5 o'clock PST.
Pacific, your time.
See, I keep trying to push it 1 hour. Maybe I'm just feeling the need. I need more time.
Well, you need to move to Utah. Get over that.
There you go.
Time
There
zone.
you go. There you go.
Come on over to Mountain Time, dude.
Well, let's talk, guys, in the chat. I'm going to look at the chat here for a minute. I wanted some feedback from you guys. Do you like the concept? I guess you guys do. You're hanging in here. But let's look at the chat. I just want to get some feedback. What are you excited about? What are you thinking? What are your thoughts here on what we got going on here? Yeah, I'd love it too, Jeffrey. It's super exciting. The desktop or mobile should work, Drew, for the Phantom wallet. I'm using desktop, but either one should work. Okay. EMF. Who's EMF? I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we are. We're putting a lot into it. And guys,
That's Frank.
Oh, it is. Okay. Frank, all right, Betty. I'm super excited, for Peter, you want to talk about the esports center and the group in Florida for a second? No? I'm going to hold off on that one.
Oh, bombshell.
We need to save the bombs until we understand this explosion that we've got right in front of us. And if I can weigh in for a second, I have done, like Peter and Doug and many of you, done trade shows in the US and in different countries. And the frustrating thing, a lot of times, for when I look at it, the frustrating thing was trying to attract, and all my focus in the company I was with was always on my international distributors. Their ability to come to those conventions on a consistent, regular basis was limited because of their travel time and expense, just the time alone, let alone the expense. And so it really restricted our ability to communicate with folks. And I had to do it one-on-one, individually, and when I think of this opportunity, you as a small company, whether that's on that first level, you've got your vendor space where you're selling whatever it is you're selling, t-shirts or something like that, instantly you are visible to a global audience because website can be converted to a local language with the click of a button. Your pricing can be adjusted with the click of a button. Everything instantly goes global, and that blows me away. It blows me away. And I think that is another hidden gem in this concept, is just being able to go instantly global and attract an audience from any country that you want to focus on. So,
yeah.
And as someone who owns that piece of real estate, that shard that can be used any number of ways, if I'm able to click the button, like Peter said, to say, yeah, I want to do that show. Yep, I want to have it do my show. And I'm just going to, stay in my beach chair, under the cabana,
Right.
drink whatever, while I make my booth available
Right.
to whatever show it is that's coming in. And your ability to build booths that blow people's minds, that just have features and the CES companies that all of everything they're doing is visual. that will instantly translate to this digital format. And again, they're able to click of a button, and all of a sudden they've got that global audience that can't get in the door, who can't, like, I could never get a ticket to Comic-Con. I lived in San Diego. I never did. If they sold out in 30 seconds, I never get it.
That's another problem. That is another problem too.
Yeah.
You don't get to go.
And so I go to Comic-Con because it doesn't matter if there's 100,000 million people that are attending. Those booth aisles aren't overly crowded because we can do crowd control. They click a button.
I'm gonna
pop that floor and see all of these companies in these booths.
Right. And you're talking about Comic-Con in San Diego, right?
San Diego, yeah, the big one, the real one. Sorry.
Yeah. Can I tell a story about that real quick? I don't know. Can you tell us? I can. I did Comic-Con years ago when I was doing things with Discovery and Fox, and I was doing stuff with different television stations. And I got invited to a lunch with a gentleman that some of you might know, the founder of Marvel Comics, right? And to be able to go to lunch with him was like a huge gift. And to think that we could do a virtual world that everybody could go to lunch with whether it's Steve Jobs or whoever it is that you wanted to go to lunch with at a convention, you could go to lunch with just anybody. Yeah, Stan Lee. Everybody knows Stan Lee, right? And the interesting thing about that lunch, I was sitting right next to the gal who was the if you remember his $6 million man, the gal that paid across from him, she was sitting right next to me. I forget her name. Unfortunately, we had a wonderful meeting. We were talking about our kids. She had children that were going through some of the same educational challenges that my kids were going through. We were just two real people talking at this lunch. And it was a table of about 10 to 12 of us. Here was Stan Lee having lunch. But when you do that in a virtual world, we can build a Stan Lee avatar AI ran with all of Stan Lee's backgrounds and knowledge and everything about him. And it would be very much like sitting and having a lunch with him, like I had with him those years back. What a wonderful, yes. Yeah, Lindsay Wagner. Yes, thank you. And it was the Bionic Woman. There you go. And it was one of those memorable days but everybody could have that day now. And I and like I said, about 10 other people were the only people in that entire convention that got to have lunch with Stan Lee. So how special that would be for everybody. So, all right, Don.
Yeah, haven't heard from Suleiman yet.
Okay.
As soon as he says check it, I'm checking it. And then we should be good to go.
I'm going to put a time limit on them here because we're going to do this again tonight.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have it done in the next few minutes, guys, I'm not going to make you guys stay on for this. I'm not going to put a time limit on it because then they'll stop and then they won't be done tonight.
Well, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
Don't say anything.
Yeah.
And we will post in Discord when you're able to go in and
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, purchase your shards, your NFTs, and
I'll post a walkthrough video for everybody as soon as I'm able to get in. And
thank you, Don.
So y'all can see exactly what to
Wow, guys, I was trying to find a booth space for the 2025 Comic-Con. I've not been able to find that, but I have found that one-day adult tickets range from $360 to $550 each just to get in the door.
I believe
Just to enter the building, $360 to $550 a person. If you want to go the whole convention, it looks like the cheapest ticket is about $1,700 up to thousands of dollars, depending on if you pick some special type thing just to go to the event.
Isn't that crazy?
Amazing for us.
Yeah. And that's not even staying downtown San Diego.
They're talking about after 2026 possibly moving the event. You know why they're talking about moving the event? The affordability of hotel rooms in San Diego.
Right.
Hotel rooms are getting too expensive. Now, I want you to know this. If you're attending the freaking convention and you have a booth, you don't have to rent one hotel room. If you're bringing a team, you're renting 4. So if it's too expensive for one person to fly in and come to it, imagine bringing in a team of 5 and 6 and 7 people to these events and having to rent 4 or 5 hotel rooms for the course of it. And by the way, you can't rent the day the convention starts. You need a day of setup and you need a day of teardown. So you literally, if it's a 4-day convention, you have to rent hotel rooms for 6 days just to get in there and do it. And guess what? They don't give a discount on the first day or the 6th day. The hotel rates stay expensive. I'm telling you guys, digital conventions, metaverse conventions are going to be one of the first big areas this thing blows up in, because people are going to go, oh my goodness, I can sleep in my own bed. I'll tell you guys a story. So I went to a convention, New York Toy Fair. It's 10 days because it used to run for 10 days. So busy you'd walk the stairs, right, in the building. So the way they had Toy Fair set up is there were 2 off building complexes, right, on Broadway and on, I can't remember the other street. And then they would hold that for 7 days. And then they would move it to the Javits Center, and they would have that for 4 days. So it was an 11-day event, right? 11 days you'd be there. I was gone so long that when I came home, I went to sleep. And I woke up and was like, what the hell are you doing in my bed? I'd stayed in a hotel room so long that my wife was in bed with me, and I thought she was a stranger who got in my bed. And I was upset that somebody was in my bed while I was trying to sleep at my hotel room, because I had been away from home for so long, right? That I just, it's like... So again, that is the inconvenience of conventions, right? Especially long ones like Toy Fair used to be back in the day, right? So I can sleep in my own bed. I can be comfortable. I can run my booth 24/7, no theft needed. I can give away digital items to the people that are attending my event. So I save money there. Rhonda had mentioned it. Your brain is, so guys, every time we would do a convention, we're at Toy Fair, you need to be special, right? We'd think, oh, let's do this in neon lights, and let's create giant of our toys, and we would have an area for people to play the game, right? In like a giant version. We'd come up with all these great ideas, and then we would send them out, and they'd come back and go, that'll be $18,000. Well, maybe we don't need to do that idea, right? That is a little expensive right there, right?
Yeah.
True story. The last booth that I was involved with building at a beauty show in Orlando, $500,000. Now it's just, that was the booth build.
Was $500,000.
It didn't include, sending it across country and union workers and setting it up. It was just the people who.
Oh my God, the union worker bill had to be 6 figures.
Yeah.
It had to be $100K to set that booth up, knowing
somebody needed to get fired over that.
Because you need one person standing there, 3 people watching them doing the work, right, at the convention center. And I have nothing against unions. If you just ever did it at a convention center, there's a supervisor, and then there's somebody to do.
Supervising the supervisor. Yeah. Let's take a vote in the chat. I think all of us, we'd be willing to do that for half that price.
Jody spent $50K plus Comic-Con display.
Oh my gosh, Jody.
Easy.
Yeah. Did you get lunch with Stan Lee for that? No.
Back in the day. And that was a while ago. I don't even want to think about how long ago, Rhonda, was that $500,000 to build that booth?
That would be like 7. I think I've been gone from there I think I've been gone 8 years.
So
yeah,
right now
and the booth, we couldn't even use the booth the next year because
right.
You know, of course, everything needed to be new and updated, and you know, images and blah blah blah. So
yeah.
Revlon could afford it, so I guess it'll be okay. But
exactly,
they'd rather not. Big organizations would rather not spend it if they didn't.
I agree. I think they start sizing down their booths and they spend more on their digital presence, and especially with glasses coming and everything else, just the expense, the efficiency, everything's going to be better. AI attendance that can, you know, look, if you train an AI and there's too many people coming to the booth, you can spin up 5 more AIs to get them the information they need instantly. You can't do that in a physical booth. Everybody's busy. And then people walk by and they'll stand there for a few minutes. Nobody's going to take care of me. Let me walk away. Boom. And
you can have different nationalities in your booth, you know,
languages, right? You
take away the language barrier. Are dressed like me, you know, who are, you know, that I walk up and go, I'm talking to someone who understands me, you know. So yeah, really cool advantages.
Huge advantages. Huge.
They're gonna.
Well, guys, I think we'll probably still be on here at 5 o'clock if this keeps going.
I mean, we may at this rate.
Could be.
Welcome to our world, everyone.
All right.
Please. We're just going to go into our regular routine for our everyday meetings and just, you can
just hang in there. Appreciate everybody hanging in there.
Oh,
It's been a job. So, yeah, Peter, I was thinking about your story with Lori. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've been at a hotel at a convention center. You wake up and you sit in bed and you look around, you go, where am I? You're trying to get orientated in this room, and your brain just won't get it, right? You're completely lost. You're so tired, so exhausted. That's the other thing, you know, like what you said, Rhonda, you know, walking around that whole convention center can literally wipe you out. So, and for some people, it's physically hard to do that. And so now there won't be any limitations to that for them either. So, all right, Don, do you have an update for us? Do we have anything from them?
The math is a little off, so they're getting the math right. I've given them the exact, you know, this is the math. This is what it should be.
Is the math currently in our favor or not? I'm just asking for a friend.
It's not in the user's favor. We're just going to get it.
I love Rhonda. She's so patient.
We're very close.
I love a deal. You gotta love a good deal.
Right.
Yeah, really.
I wonder who's going to be the first person to get one of these. I mean, Peter, he already has it all queued up.
This will be this will absolutely be the first NFTs that I purchase, and speak for myself, that will start increasing in value and earning me money.
You know,
faster than
that's exciting. That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah,
it has actual utility.
12 months a year. Yeah, whatever. 12 months is a year. Okay, 12 months, so 18 months. It's still whatever other NFTs I hold. Even when the bull comes and all of that, I don't know that any of those will increase in value as quickly and then bring a return year on year on year on year as conventions grow. It's insane. It's cool.
Yeah.
I guess you can tell I'm probably gonna buy them.
I'm still reading this article on Comic-Con. The only hotel rooms left for 2025 are $1,000 or more a night.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Hotel room
I know
blocks
it.
And
are
see,
sold
and
out.
see, and see,
People would
that's
rent their houses and just leave town, you know? Airbnb.
that's robbery, right? They take advantage
Yeah,
of the event, right? Because they know they can.
$1,000 a night. Supply and demand, right?
You
5
know,
nights there, 5K just, and then you're paying at that point 1,500, 2,000 to get in the door. You're at 6 to 7K. Have a couple people maybe stay in the room with you. Only I don't like sharing rooms with people, but that's beside the point. I guess if you're gonna go there, right? And then food and everything else, and what you're gonna spend at the event, you're dropping 10K just to go, and that's if you don't buy the giant Iron Man costume that you've always wanted in your den, right? So it could be cool. That actually has motion activated movement that's in the booth, that when you're walking through and you're like, I gotta have it, and it's 18K, but you gotta have it. So you drop the 18K on the motion activated. Oh my goodness.
So you just brought up a great business model. So what about, you start that costume, online costume company in Otherverse, where you're selling your exclusive designed costumes, and Corey can buy the Deadpool costume from me. I'll give him a discount, so that he can wear it to the convention.
Yeah, he'd make a
It's
good
very
Deadpool.
unlimited opportunities in so many different ways. So, very fun.
Oh.
yeah, we're very close on the price, guys. Oh,
Yeah, really close. One little tweak to make and upload it, and we should be good.
We'll be set and ready to go.
Ready to
Yeah.
buy.
I don't know. Would it be weird if we came out with a virtual Airbnb that your avatar could spend the night at?
No, that's not weird.
And
No,
all the avatars
we'll be able to
could
rent our
party?
apartments out from our NFTs that we hold,
Yeah,
our
we can
trunks.
rent our apartments
We
for
rent out my penthouse all the time.
I keep telling
So-
Peter I want to stay in his outdoor place. I forget what it's called, but
My life is about residual income. I'm gonna keep renting out everything I can. I mean, I'm going to become a absolute juggernaut digital landlord, right? I'll never be a slumlord. I'll always make sure that everything works in my places, so don't worry about that. I want to have thousands of opportunities to rent out on a monthly basis, right? And I get 6 here, 12 here, 8 here, 30 here, 40 here, 50 here, 90 here. But I got thousands of these things going on all the time. So I'm going to continue to build and look for rental opportunities in the metaverse because it's digital. I don't have to manage it. I find MetaForge manages everything for me. They're out doing the work. They're booking the stuff. All I got to do is own the right NFTs, and boom, magic is happening, and everything is coming together in a perfect way. So I don't know, guys, if you can find anybody who believes in the metaverse as strongly as I do. And the reason why is I look at facts. Tens of millions of kids every single day playing in Roblox, playing in Fortnite, playing in all of these that are semi-game focused virtual environments. I look at my son, fantastic programmer, right? Just knocking the ball, but he loves to play video games. He loves to spend time in digital environments, collecting digital stuff, all of that stuff. We're moving in that direction. Again, look at and I've talked about this already on this call, the cost of going and doing things, right? The inconvenience of time, the environmental impact of traveling to these things. When you start adding it up, we're going to move into a digital society. And you guys have heard me say that it is common sense to me that anything digital will function better in a digital environment than it will in a non-digital environment. Simple. It will function better in a digital environment. And as Web3 unfolds, which, by the way, you can't have Web3 really without a metaverse. Web3 is an experiential environment. How did you have an experiential environment without a metaverse? Can't. If you're going to experience it, you need to become digital in order to experience it in a digital format, right? Which means what? I need to have an avatar. And if I have an avatar and that avatar is functioning, where's it functioning in? It's functioning in a metaverse. So at the end of the day, Web3, the center, the core of all Web3, we're out there, we're getting DeFi tokens, and we're thinking about, entertainment, and we're thinking about, NFTs from Marvel and from Barbie and from all of this stuff, right? SocialFi, whole social media platforms operating and functioning in Web3. All of those eventually need to meld in and be built into and built up in a digital environment, which is the metaverse. We don't even need to call it a digital environment anymore. It's the metaverse. It's where it's heading to. It is the reason why Mark Zuckerberg bet the house, changed the name of his company, because he sees this and understands it. He just doesn't have the experience in order to pull it off because he hadn't gone through it before. We have the person, the team that has the experience, and we have the opportunity to be involved in it. And so I believe you're going to have another Amazon, Walmart situation where they can't move fast enough, efficiently enough, can't adjust fast enough to become the leader in the space. Walmart still has their online sales. They still have their stores. However, Amazon is the largest retailer on the internet, even though they weren't even a bug. When Bezos sold his first book, Walmart was already doing hundreds of billions of dollars a year, right? He just brought in his first $10. Walmart's hundreds of billions of dollars a year. Who does more now online? Amazon. And I believe we're putting ourselves in a position for something similar to happen here. How we doing, guys?
Well, I'm hammering on this thing. I just trying
We'll
to
let
make
you
sure
guys
it's
know
right.
in social media when it's ready.
Yeah, I think so.
Look for a flare to be shot up in social media.
Yeah, we're not going to stop. Yeah,
we're going to keep
Don and
pushing.
I are not leaving these chairs until this is running. So,
Oh, shoot, no, butt to the seat.
yeah. So appreciate everybody, guys. It will be worth it, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
And and I thank everybody for their patience. This is what programming feels like. Sometimes it's just not fun.
They've
Okay.
only seen a small glimpse.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll like I said, in Discord, Peter says he'll stand on the roof of his house in Fountain Hills, shoot off the flare.
Yeah.
Everybody will see it.
It's gonna dance on the roof.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I can't.
Oh, I shouldn't give him any ideas. I'm sorry.
Be the first time.
You meant to do that? You
Well,
tried
no,
to
let me just check to see if the insurance policy is paid up, and then you can.
he like if he fell off that roof, he's way up there.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
this is the you can't do that yet.
No.
You notice I said yet.
Yeah, he's not allowed.
Yes, me, no matter when it is.
It's
They
not
just-
good.
Oh man, Peter can't call me today. He fell off the roof.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who's going to call Lori and tell her that.
Yeah. Now everybody would, the whole team here would go through withdrawals, dude, if you didn't call.
They would. They'd be like, "Oh, Peter's calling me. Oh, wait, no, he fell off the roof."
Yeah, it's a phantom call. All right, guys, thanks everybody. We'll update everybody in Discord.
Sure will.
Appreciate you being here.
We'll see you in a few hours. Bring a friend.
Yeah, and Don, let's jump on a Zoom with these guys.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Bye-bye.